What is going on, Bills Mafia? Ryan Thomas here, back for another episode of the Thomas Take Sports Podcast. Greatly appreciate all of you for tuning in. Of course, it's been a little bit since I've been live, and this episode is live, presented by 26shirts.com. There are a few keys for these guys, the Buffalo Bills, that I have in order for them to achieve what we all hope and dream that they finally achieve, and that is winning a Super Bowl. But first, want to dive into a few things here as far as the AFC East in 2025, 2026. A little bit of my outlook on just the division as a whole. This division, well, I think the Buffalo Bills are the cream of the crop, the beast of the East, as they were with Jim Kelly for such a long time. Now, with Josh Allen, as they have been for such a long time. It's just been great to see this team go year after year after year of dominance within the AFC East, beating the likes of the Dolphins twice a year, beating the likes of the Jets twice a year. We've seen this team go undefeated at home in a whole regular season once before in this Josh Allen era. It's been great to see, and I think they can do it again. I think it'll be tougher to do it again. Dare I say it? Do I think it'll be tougher? Yes, I do. But do I think it's possible? 100%. So, want to give my take on the AFC East, and of course, tonight's show live Wednesday at 8. You can check out and catch every episode of the Thomas Take Sports Podcast Wednesdays at 8 Eastern Time, right here on my YouTube channel, the Thomas Take Sports Podcast, as well as Facebook, Thomas Take Sports Podcast, as well as the Buffalo Fan Base Network. Greatly appreciate being able to be out on the stream here tonight, to be able to dive into all the topics that I want to discuss on this show tonight. So first off, we'll start with the AFC East. And I think it's really easy to go team by team here and just look at the New England Patriots first and foremost. In a form of fashion, I'm going to be looking at this as a little bit of a scenario where I'll just go through each team based on how I feel these teams will finish. And a couple news and notes about these teams, and where they improve. So, first off, with the New England Patriots, you got Mike Vrabel in the building as the new head coach of the New England Patriots. He's back. He's definitely a coach that I think deserved the opportunity to get another crack at it, to get another stab at it. Of course, in the sense of another opportunity for a head coaching position, head coaching job, very much needed to get that shot, right? Mike Vrabel, I thought, was inexplicably fired by the Tennessee Titans. They then, bring him back into the fold as an assistant. That they meaning the NFL. He comes back to Cleveland, being an Ohio guy, Ohio State player, looked at as a legend of Ohio State as well. A great football player in his own right. Gets the chance to work under Kevin Stefanski for a year, and then obviously now back with the Patriots, team that he played very, very well for quite some time. I like Mike Vrabel a lot. I think Mike Vrabel is a good coach. There's a lot of moments where he led some very thinly talented teams, or lack thereof, talent wise, as far as the rosters went for the Tennessee Titans. Outside of Derrick Henry, they didn't really have much of a quarterback to speak of. Outside of Derrick Henry, their defense was okay, not great, and yet Mike Vrabel propelled them to new heights for quite a few years down in Tennessee. Gets fired, as I mentioned, a year away from being a head coach at the very least, then gets another opportunity here to come back to the Patriots. And I think this was a move that the Patriots should have made a year ago. They went with Gerard Mayo. I honestly, I thought and felt like they made a huge mistake not going with Mike Vrabel in that point in time. But in all seriousness, when I look at Vrabel, I say he's looking at this as an opportunity to not only be back with the New England Patriots, but to be back as a head coach in the National Football League with a little bit of a better group this time around. And we'll go to the next talking point within discussing the New England Patriots. Drake May is in year two. Year two for Drake May. This is a big, big year. Every year, two for a quarterback in particular is really important. Drake May did some really nice things last year as a rookie. I thought he showed some Josh Allen light-esque ability as far as extending plays, being a quarterback that really helped the offense with the limited weapons that he had around him. I expect Drake May to only get better as he moves along the process that is the journey of an NFL quarterback. You're not going to start off, having a great rookie year. It's very rare that a quarterback comes into the National Football League and has a year that just blows the roof off of, the entire league. That's pretty rare, right? That's pretty unexpected for Drake May to come in as a rookie last year and do that with a very limited and albeit young supporting cast. So Drake May in year two, rather. Stephon Diggs comes in. I don't know what to think of that. I really don't, and I'm not just saying that just to, throw shade at Stephon Diggs. I don't know what type of player he is at this point in his career, coming off of a torn ACL, post 30, on the wrong side of 30. I just don't know what to think as far as what he'll bring to the table. But Mac Hollins, former Buffalo Bill, did a lot of really great things last season for Buffalo, leading receiver for the Buffalo Bills. That was a nice steal by the Patriots to, pluck him away from their AFC East rival Buffalo Bills and to bring him into New England. But they overpaid him. They had to overpay him in order to get him to leave Buffalo to go to the New England Patriots. And, God bless him. Wish him nothing but the best. Seems like a great guy, but obviously got a lot of money to go to the Patriots based off of one decent season as a wide receiver in the NFL. So Drake May has got new weapons. I think the biggest key, though, to the success of the New England Patriots or not lies within the run game. As I mentioned, Mike Vrabel, longtime coach of the Tennessee Titans. One thing that Tennessee loved to do while Vrabel was the head coach there, they loved to run the football. They had a running back that allowed them to do that. One of the best running backs of his generation, that being, of course, Derrick Henry. So this is really important to discuss. TreVeyon Henderson, the rookie running back out of the Ohio State, shared a backfield with another fellow rookie running back in Quinshon Judkins that was drafted by the Cleveland Browns. But TreVeyon Henderson probably looked at as one of the best all-around talents at the running back position to come out into the NFL in quite some time. And that is in a class that includes Ashton Jeanty. That is in a class that includes Amarian Hampton, Jeanty, Raiders, Hampton, Chargers, Henderson, Patriots. And that's how I'd rank them. That's how I would rank them rookie-wise for the dynasty, fantasy football people out there. That's how I'd rank those three running backs in particular. But Henderson has the chance to be just as good, if not better, than those two guys long-term. He's got just as much talent, just as much well-rounded ability as Ashton Jeanty, as well as Amarian Hampton. I think Jeanty's the best out of the rookie ranks, but 5-10 years from now, that conversation could get a little closer depending on what happens with these players. So Scott Reed showing some love. My guy, what's up, brother? What's up, Scott? 24/7 Buffalo Phantomonium says RT is in the house. Fire away your comments as I'm going on my TreVeyon Henderson rant here for the Patriots. But my point is, I think that he is going to greatly help the New England Patriots. And I think that there's a lot of reason to think that he'll fit in well right away. It's very rare a quarterback to make that immediate impact, but it's not as rare. It's more common, I guess I could say, for a rookie running back to really, come out guns blazing. So yeah, that's how I look at the Patriots. I look at them as a very young team. I look at them as a team with a new coach, but I see building blocks. I see what they're trying to do. I see potential in what it is that they're trying to do. So for that, if I were to, kind of list these teams in the order that I'm going to, being that I talked about the Patriots first, doesn't mean I think the Patriots are going to win the division. Okay, the Bills, I think, are the team to beat in the AFC East, and I think they'll win the division with relative ease. But the Patriots could very well be second best in a year, coming off of a year where they're one of the worst teams in the NFL, coming off of 2 straight seasons of really bad football. So big steps can be taken with a coach like Mike Vrabel, guy that I think Bills fans might not like due to what he was able to do for Tennessee, due to him being now in New England. But I think if the shoe was on the other foot, if we were a Titans fan at one point, if we were a Patriots fan at another, we would like Mike Vrabel quite a lot. We would say, hey, that guy's a good coach, and I think that that's fair. All right, now we're going to go on to the Miami Dolphins. So Mike McDaniel on the hot seat. I would honestly say that out of any coach in the NFL right now, Mike McDaniel is feeling the heat on that seat as much as anybody right now. And I'll tell you guys, it's not because the Dolphins haven't been successful. It's because they have been, but they've fallen apart, I think, 2 straight seasons. Playing really good ball September, October, but then when November hits, when those winter months hit, the Ferrari that is the Miami Dolphins, the Ferrari that would be driving down, Miami Vice-like roads and stuff in South Beach, just doesn't run as well when the weather starts to get a little colder, when the snow starts falling and you start to get to the real nitty-gritty that is the NFL football season. So the Dolphins have question marks. And the biggest question marks are at the 2 most important positions within an NFL organization. I think it's the head coach as well as the quarterback in Tua's consistent durability concerns that I think are extremely valid based upon the previous injuries that he suffered. And listen, if Tua gets hurt early this season, then the season's lost. Oddly enough, Tua in his own right gets hurt as we get into those grueling months, wear and tear months of an NFL season. He has not faced an injury that is like week 1 or week 2. That hasn't happened yet. But if it does, the Dolphins season goes up in complete smoke. I'm not privy. I'll look this up while I'm talking here, but I'm not privy to the backup quarterback depth chart of every National Football League team. But I know very well who the backup quarterback is off the top of my head. As I was looking this up, I realized it. The backup quarterback in Miami is Zach Wilson, who fizzled out with the Jets. Maybe was jettisoned a little too soon, was kind of tossed aside after Aaron Rodgers was injured in Zach Wilson's ultimately last season playing for the Jets. And there were some games where he played pretty well. They beat the Kansas City Chiefs 1 week. So there's definitely some talent there. There's definitely some ability there. That's why he was picked as the 2nd overall pick a few years back. But there's also some ability there that shows why he's a backup. So Zach Wilson could easily be the Dolphins starter, let's just say week 5, week 6, with the durability concerns that I have in regards to the health of Tua. And listen, I talk about this every year, and every year, like clockwork, I've been proven right that Tua simply can't stay healthy. His style of play is just not one that lends itself to being durable with his body. If you put a player like Tua in the body of Josh Allen, size-wise, you can get away with a little bit of that, right? But being that he's a little bit stockier, a little bit smaller, and as a guy that really does not like to throw the football away, wants to make a play each and every down. To his detriment, he takes that extra hit or two and destroys his body in the process of doing that. So, are there players on the Dolphins, without sounding like a complete hater, that I like? There's quite a few. Devin Achane, had him last year on a couple fantasy teams. Really like him as a player. Very skilled running back, but he too is prone to injury. Tyreek Hill, getting a little older, right? Getting a little bit long in the tooth. As soon as that speed goes, he will not be the same player. The speed hasn't gone yet, though. He's still got the speed that we all know and hate playing against him for, right? But you might love to have him on a fantasy team 2 years ago. He was the next best thing. So what version of Tyreek Hill are we going to see in 2025, 2026? Is it going to be the version that we saw 2 years ago? Is it going to be the version that we saw last season? I think we could find ourselves looking at a guy that's on the in-between of that, because they're two opposite ends of the spectrum. One guy was elite. The other guy was not elite for him, not elite for the skills and the skill set that he possesses. I just want to go through a season without reading his name in the newspaper for doing something stupid. That's something that I think the Dolphins are hoping for. I think football fans are hoping for that. You have them on dynasty teams, fantasy teams. As we get closer and closer to the fantasy season here, you're going to hear me talk a lot about fantasy football in the upcoming weeks, months, as you guys try to get prepared to, go toe-to-toe with the champ. Those of you in the K-Gun Report League, those of you that are in my leagues, or those of you that are not and just want to learn something, I can provide you that opportunity. So, have fun with it. Take that for what it is. All right? All right, we're going to go to the New York Jets next. The New York Jets ringing in another new era for the New York Jets. A new head coach in Aaron Glenn. No nonsense. That's what I put in capital letters here. No nonsense. This no-nonsense approach is long overdue. No nonsense. So what I mean by that is the New York Jets have always been a little bit of a character within the National Football League. Teams like the Jets, teams like the Cowboys, they have almost made themselves into this reality TV experiment that I really believe is one that would let any fan of the Jets just live in complete misery, and any fan of another team that roots against, or any fan of another team that doesn't like the Jets, any non-Jets fan will just say they love it. And I'm one of those people. I love it to see the Jets just kind of fumble over themselves time and time again, from Rex Ryan to, all the coaches they've had, Adam Gase, Todd Bowles, as well as Robert Saleh. I really liked Rex Ryan when he was the coach of the Jets. It was hard not to like him. Hard Knocks, extremely entertaining guy, but that fizzled out once they went to those two AFC championship games. Fizzled out quite quickly. He comes to Buffalo. Obviously, that did not work out either, right? So Todd Bowles comes in, respected guy. Look what he's done with Tampa Bay. Look what he wasn't necessarily allowed to do with the Jets, that I think he has been given the little bit of the leash that he needed to just kind of get his own guys, get his own group of players in here, or there, I should say. Speaking for him, let me get my own guys. Let me get my own players. Let me just put my own spin on this team. And for lack of a better term, the Jets have just zigged when they should have zagged. And that could go back to the Zach Wilson decision. That could go back to the Aaron Rodgers trade, and go back to a lot. They've made a lot of moves. The Le'Veon Bell signing a few years back, that they're trying. They're trying. They know that they need to win. They know that their fans are pretty irate about the fact that they are not winning, and that they live in a market, they play in a market that demands success. And the Jets have not had success really hardly at all over the course of the last 30, 35 years. Outside of those 2 Rex Ryan years, the only success that they've really had was when they had Broadway Joe Namath, Joe Willie, as their quarterback in Super Bowl III, making the guarantee, all that. Respect to that version of the New York Jets, carrying the torch high and proud for what was the early years post the AFL NFL merger. So outside of that, they've really been hit or miss. I always liked Chad Pennington, always liked Herm Edwards, Curtis Martin, those guys. But now Aaron Glenn comes along, this D coordinator for the Detroit Lions, who are another team that's definitely lost a lot. They lose Aaron Glenn, they lose Ben Johnson to the Bears. Glenn goes to the Jets. And Aaron Glenn, former New York Jet himself, player that I really liked back in the day, solid corner, really instinctual, really smart, X's and O's guy. Was he the fastest guy? Was he the biggest guy? No, but did he check off every single box on the field with his commitment, with his passion? Yes. And that's what makes him a very interesting hire. And I say interesting as a compliment to him as the next head coach of the New York Jets. This could be the first time, potentially. I don't want to say this, too much too soon, but this could be the first time potentially that the New York Jets actually aren't messing around and that they are just simply hiring a solid, sound, fundamentals type coach that can just bring them back to brass tacks a little bit and get them to a point where they can just be a consistent, productive team year after year after year as they get better. This year's not going to be the year. This year's not going to be the year that the New York Jets make the playoffs. It's not. I don't think they've done nearly enough. I think their offensive line has a lot of problems, which was why they went out and they were so aggressive, super aggressive in the pursuit of a new quarterback by the name of Justin Fields. I felt like they were in the Fields market or a scramble type quarterback market where you got Justin Fields and I believe Tyrod Taylor. So those are 2 quarterbacks that are very fast, very quick, extendable playmaking quarterbacks that I think are a good fit for what is around that team at present. Is it the best options for that team at present? Yes. Aaron Rodgers for them, that experiment was done. They tried, it failed, didn't work. So now they go back to the drawing board with another young quarterback that was picked. I believe the same draft class that Zach Wilson was picked in by the New York Jets. So they passed on him once before. Now they bring him in as a free agency acquisition, a 2-year deal, $40 million, $20 million per, obviously, if we can do basic division. And Justin Fields is a guy that I just have not seen enough consistency from him as a thrower. But the Jets look at him and say, well, he hasn't really shown the consistency as a thrower, but he certainly has shown the consistency as an elite playmaking runner at the quarterback position. And define elite, I would say, compared to what was available, if you're looking for that skill set, is he elite in the NFL? Under no measure is he elite in any measure in the National Football League. But compared to what was available free agency-wise, the New York Jets said, you know what? Pardon my French, but fuck it. We're going to go out. We're going to sign him. We're going to do what we need to do. And we're gonna see if this works. We got 2 years to see if this works. If it works, great. If it doesn't, then we're just back to the drawing board anyway, which is where we already are right now. So what's 2 years? Screw it. To hell with it. Bring him in. Kind of a no-nonsense approach, though. And a lot of the players that are going into training camp, there was always some sort of distraction for the New York Jets. A guy that wasn't paid, guy that didn't get the money he wanted, a holdout. The Jets don't have any of that right now. They just extended Sauce Gardner. They just extended Garrett Wilson. They are free of virtually any distractions, which is great for them. That is. Because for a team that is as young as them in this young step of the program that Aaron Glenn is leading, they want as little distractions as humanly possible. And those were distractions, to say the least. So key to getting to the playoffs is winning your division. And I think based upon how I evaluate these teams, I think the Bills will take it. Once again, sixth straight season. Patriots number 2 could be a wild card team to look out for, could be, but I'll just say second in the AFC East. Miami third and the New York Jets fourth. I think the Dolphins and Jets could be extremely close together in terms of record, but just based on how that division I think will show up and shake out, I got the Bills winning it for certain. So the headline of this podcast was the Buffalo Bills, I guess Buffalo's biggest keys to a Super Bowl win in 2025, 2026. Now there's two, and I'm going to just name two last names, in regards to two players offensively that I think are massive keys to success for the Buffalo Bills. If these two players do not succeed in 2025, 2026, I think it's safe to say that this season will not go the way that Bills fans want it to go. And that is Kincaid and Coleman. Dalton Kincaid, tight end, and wide receiver Keon Coleman. So I checked the numbers. I got them written down right here in front of me, but I checked the numbers on Dalton Kincaid and Keon Coleman. Obviously, Keon Coleman was a rookie last year. He was a second-round pick, expected to be just kind of slotted right in there and hope that he will produce, right? That's what you're hoping for when you draft a rookie wideout in the first or second round. But I want to talk about Dalton Kincaid a little bit, and I want to bring up his statistics from last season. Let's do this here. So we are going to share Dalton Kincaid's Pro Football Reference page, if it will let me. Okay, great. So this is Dalton Kincaid's receiving and rushing production. Now, the key with this, and I'll put it to you guys quite frankly, there's numbers here that jump out at me quite easily. 2023, 24-year-old Dalton Kincaid, 16 games, 11 games started. 2024, 25-year-old Dalton Kincaid, of course, 13 games, 9 games started. So missed some time, right? 75 targets compared to 91 the previous season, 44 catches compared to 73 the previous season, 448 yards compared to the 673 the previous season. Receiving touchdowns still remain the same at 2. But of course, no other number is better his second year than it was outside of yards per reception his first season. So realistically, I felt like it was a very much a down year for Dalton Kincaid, especially in comparison to his rookie season. His rookie season was one of the best rookie receiving seasons in Buffalo Bills history. If I were to go back and look at it, I do believe it was actually the best rookie season that anybody's ever had for a receiver and or tight end in Buffalo Bills history, just in terms of catches. 73 balls. That's a lot. That's a lot of passes. 91 targets. That's a lot of targets. But there's so much meat left on the bone here. There's so much opportunity for Dalton Kincaid to be a focal point in this offense. I still see him as one of, if not the best targets that this Bills offense has, just in terms of being a possession type guy, getting open over the middle, getting open on drag routes and things like that underneath, being accessible as the quarterback's best friend. Dalton Kincaid has to be better. One way he can be better is by staying healthy. The best ability is availability. You've heard me say that a bunch of times on this podcast. Dalton Kincaid has to stay healthy. In order to do that, he has to get bigger. He has to get stronger. Brandon Beane worded it as building up his armor. There has to be more on the bone for Dalton Kincaid, production-wise and in a literal sense. I want to see him line up at 245, 250. No more 230, no more 235. It's a big difference when it's pounds of muscle rather than just fat. If you're talking about me going from, let's just say 200 to 190, I'm still going to look virtually the same. Dalton Kincaid, he's going to look a lot better. We'll just put it that way. So that's what I'm looking for from Kincaid. And then for Coleman, obviously, it was a rookie year last year. And I have watched extensively so much Keon Coleman tape from his rookie year that I have been just blown away by the haters and what they've said about Keon, how they've portrayed Keon or his lack thereof of ability. That's not what I'm seeing. That's not what I saw last season. I saw a rookie wide receiver adjusting to the NFL, adjusting to the speed of the game, the speed of the defenses that he's facing, as well as finding his role within an offense that he'd never played in before. And there were a lot of moments where Keon Coleman could have shown up more. Yeah, when he was out on the field, definitely. There was also some moments where he definitely did show up on the field, and there was one game in particular against the Seattle Seahawks. He's lined up against Riq Woolen, one of the best corners in the league. He played his ass off, played very well, took that game over for quite a time, allowed Buffalo to get back into it with some of the clutch catches that he made. And I think he's got a lot of talent. I think he does. I don't think he's a bust. After one season, to say that about a guy is a little premature, to say the least. I don't think he's a bust. I think there's just room for improvement. And as a rookie going into his second year, I wouldn't expect to say anything less. Said it earlier, it's really tough for rookie quarterbacks to come in and just take the league over. It's really tough for rookie wide receivers to do the same thing. So with that, my point on this is that Dalton Kincaid and Keon Coleman on offense are the keys to success for the Buffalo Bills. Those two players must stay healthy. If James Cook goes down, God forbid, you have Ray Davis. If Ray Davis went down, you'd have James Cook, right? Instead, right? If Ray Davis went down instead of James Cook, you'd still have James Cook. If Kincaid goes down, you have Knox. If Coleman goes down, you do have depth. You got Eli Moore, you got Josh Palmer, but these players were high invested talents by the Buffalo Bills organization. They want to see the return on investment, and they want to see it as soon as humanly possible. This is the year to start to see those positive signs. I think Kincaid is actually under more pressure, if that makes sense. Kincaid was a first-round pick. Bills traded up to get him. Keon Coleman, second-round pick. Bills traded down to ultimately take him. Different dynamic, different situation, especially post the drop that Kincaid had against the Kansas City Chiefs that people are still, ripping him apart for. But to say the least, I think Kincaid is under a little bit more pressure. I really do. I think out of the two, he's under a little bit more pressure. I think people have already prejudged or judged Keon Coleman far too soon to where it's going to make them look extremely foolish once he actually shows up this season, God willing. So Kincaid and Coleman. And then you go to this, reinvigorated, defense, new look defense in Buffalo. And I am hoping I'm wrong when I say this, but it's like every time I open something, a Buffalo Bills player on defense is hurt already, and we haven't even gone into training camp yet. Joey Bosa's got ailments. Landon Jackson, rookie defensive end, he's got stuff going on. I think the only difference between the Bills and the Chiefs, the only difference maybe even between the Bills and the Bengals, when the Bills play those two teams in particular, is that the Bills have had a really hard time getting to Patrick Mahomes, not just from a sack standpoint, but from a hurry standpoint, as well as to Burrow. And this new look defense in Buffalo needs to be able to pressure the quarterback, needs to be able to sack the quarterback. It's extremely important for this upcoming season. Buffalo invested far too much in their front four, in their front seven, for this to not work. And I think the talent between TJ Sanders, Landon Jackson, of course, the guys we already have, Dorian Williams expected to take that next big step too. Terrell Bernard leading the way on a new extension that he definitely deserved. There's a lot to like about the defense that the Bills have. even from a secondary standpoint, Maxwell Hairston, easily the fastest corner in the draft this year. First round pick. Let's see what this kid's got to pair alongside a franchise corner that was picked out of Villanova in the 6th round, Christian Benford. So I always like to keep this a 35-minute show. We're wrapping things up here. Final 30 seconds of the show. I just want to provide some final thoughts, guys. I really appreciate your patience here. I've been extremely busy just working my day job as well as working my other day job. So 2 jobs now. Things can get kind of hectic. But as we inch closer and closer to football season, of course, I'll be here to provide you guys with great coverage of the Buffalo Bills for the 2025-2026 season and beyond. Of course, playoffs, God willing, Super Bowl. Would love to, host a Super Bowl show this upcoming season. I've never hosted one with the Bills in the Super Bowl ever before. So hopefully this is the year to do it. Happy 716 Day. Happy congratulations, I should say, to Give 716, who have raised over $1 million to local charities. That's because of you, the people of Western New York. Greatly appreciate each and every one of you that have continued to be a great part of this community. It really means a lot coming from me, a red, white, and Buffalo blue community guy. So with that being said, I'm Ryan Thomas. That was the Thomas Take Sports Podcast. I'll see you next Wednesday night at 8. Last and certainly not least, go Bills.